Julia Carter was 32, burned out from her city job, and looking for peace. When she saw a listing for a cheap oceanfront Victorian house in Bar Harbor, she thought it was her dream come true. The locals called it the Avery House, built in 1892 by a sea captain for his wife. It had been abandoned since the 1970s. The listing agent warned her half-jokingly, "You'll have to get used to the noises at night." Julia laughed it off. Old houses creak. She signed the papers. The first day was spent dusting, fixing windows, and watching the sunset over the harbor. At midnight, Julia was woken by a faint sound, like a woman's voice, muffled through walls. She got up, checked every room. Nothing. The next night, the voice came again. This time she heard words. "They're in the floor and under the light." The sound seemed to come from the parlor. The parlor had an old chandelier, its brass arms dulled with age. Inside the box was a faded photograph of a young woman in a white dress standing by the harbor, and a diary dated 1893. The diary belonged to Eleanor Avery, the captain's wife. The entries were ordinary at first: garden parties, church, walks by the ocean. But in September 1893, the tone changed. "He knows I've seen the ledger. The men on the dock. The crates at night. This is not the man I married." The final entry, dated October 17, 1893, read, "If I disappear, it is because he made me. Please, find the truth." There were no more pages. Julia went to the town archives the next day. She found an old newspaper. "Local woman lost at sea. Eleanor Avery presumed drowned." The article claimed Eleanor had fallen overboard during a sailing trip with her husband, but Julia noticed something odd. There was no mention of a funeral and no obituary. It was as if Eleanor's life had been erased. That night, the whisper returned louder, more urgent. The harbor, the crates, ledger, under the pier. Julia decided she couldn't ignore it. She grabbed a flashlight and walked to the old harbor pier. It was low tide. She crawled under the wooden beams, the seaweed clinging to her boots. Her light caught something wedged in the beams, a rusted metal box. Inside the box was a water-damaged ledger. The pages listed shipments from 1892-1893 crates labeled as machinery, but with strange notations: opium, ivory, weapons. At the bottom of the final page was a signature, Captain Thomas Avery. Julia took the ledger to the local museum. Historians confirmed it. Thomas Avery had been smuggling illegal goods. Eleanor had likely discovered his crimes, and her accident at sea was no accident at all.